How's it going, guys? Alan with Frost Collectibles. Today I'm going to be telling you about my top 5 ways to pick up collections, pick up inventory, grow your selling platform, whatever you want to call it. And the first one is probably the simplest, but it's also probably the least productive as far as getting good collections at a good deal, at a good price, and that is the online avenues. Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, and eBay. And there's a trick to all of these, of course. Checking Facebook Marketplace often is good. If you're the first one that sees something nice up there and you get a hold of the person first, maybe you can make a good deal. Maybe there's some profit to be had there, but most of the time the stuff I see on Facebook Marketplace is other resellers who are already jacking up the prices on stuff, or it's some junk wax collection for $200. It's not worth 10. Craigslist, kind of the same thing, but be vigilant, check them anyway. Every once in a while you might find something good. I found a couple good deals in my lifetime through Facebook and Craigslist. eBay, what I look for on eBay is auctions that are ending at weird times, that at 2 a.m. for some reason the person started a 7-day auction, and I know it's a card that would normally jump from $300 to $500 in the last 5 minutes of bidding. That's not going to happen. If it's at 2 a.m. You get some really good deals on cards. Watch eBay lots. If it's something you think that you can turn, you need to be making 30% at the minimum. If it's something that you can get 30% out of, if it's a lot of, I don't care what it is. If it's a bunch of junk wax rookies, if you can make 30% off of it and you're confident about that, buy that lot. It might take you a little while to sell it. We're talking long term, we're talking bigger, we're not talking short term. There's totally different strategy and idea for short term sellers and short term dealers, prospecting, stuff like that. I'm talking about people that want to slowly grow and get bigger and slowly become a bigger dealer and get into bigger and better cards. That's what I think works the best. In my 20 plus years of experience, that's what's always worked for me. So the first and easiest way is check the online sites. You're not going to see tons of great stuff. I mean, a lot of times whatever you see, you could go to CompC and find the same cards for the same price or cheaper on other online sites. But every once in a while, good deal comes across. Number 2, your local store. Get in good with your local store. Get in good with the people that work there, the customers that are there 3 or 4 days a week, the people that hang out there. For me, I came from the Bay Area. I live in a small town in Montana now, and I came from an area that had tons of cards, tons of stores, tons of shows, and I was able to pick up collections all the time. And now I live in the middle of nowhere, Montana, no teams anywhere around, not a huge market as far as cards and sports to be, as far as compared to the West Coast or East Coast. I'm still able to pick up collections and make money. And this is a big one, is getting good with your local store. There's only one store in my town, and I consider the guy a good buddy of mine. So when he wants to pass on a deal, well, I've told him, hey, anything you're looking to pass on, send them to me. Anything you need help with, say he just made a big investment over here on a lot of cards. Hey, I'll go 50-50 on the next one with you if you need some help capital-wise. That'll work out for you. It always has for me. There's never been a time where being close and good friends with your local store has not turned out in my favor. There's a lot of times that they just don't have the capital, the time, the energy, whatever it might be at that current moment to pick up that deal. And rather than telling that person no flat out or try us again in 6 months, they'll pass them my number, my card. That gets into step number 3, business cards. I probably hand out 1,000 a month, maybe not 1,000, 1,000 every 2-3 months. I hand these out everywhere I go. If I'm going to garage sales, estate sales, at dinner, anyone I spark up a conversation with, every time I meet someone new, I give them a business card and I say, hey, don't be shy, share that number. If you know anybody that might have a shoebox in their closet, it could be worth a few $1,000s. That will work for you. Might take a little while for your name and cards to get circulated. Might take a little while before you start getting phone calls, but it will happen eventually. At least it always has for me. Worked in the Bay Area like crazy. Works here in Montana just a little bit slower because there's a little bit less product and it's a smaller market. But I tell you where I'm specific about handing out cards. I go to my Elks Lodge, my Eagles Lodge. I go to estate sales, and when I do, I go find the person holding the estate sale and I make sure they have my card and I say, hey, look, here's what I can do for you. I can appraise your collections if you ever find them. I can tell you, what they're worth. I can consign collections for you rather than you just throwing them up in an estate sale and getting $10 for a box of cards and you have no idea what's in that box of cards. This is a side little tangent. That's another way you can make money, is appraising collection, consigning collections for, estate people. There's other ways to make money other than just selling cards. That's something I'll get into in another video, but estate sale people's a big one because cards are found at a lot of estate sales, and a lot of times they don't have the patience or the time or the manpower to go through them. And you can get some really good deals there. Back to Elks Lodge, Eagles Lodge. You're looking for your target market. Vintage baseball is my love. Vintage sports in general, but vintage baseball mostly. Elks Lodge, Eagles Lodge, I'm finding they're made up of over 55 and over men. That's the target market, who's going to have that shoebox in the closet that might have a bunch of 52 tops or 53 tops or, 48, whatever it is that's old and worthwhile. And that's where you're going to find it. You're not going to find it at some 19-year-old kid's place. You might find some brand new mosaic or something like that. But if you're looking for good vintage deals, you need to go find the people that are going to have the good vintage cards. Elder men. That's where you need to be looking. I used to go walk around the rich neighborhoods where I'm from in the Bay Area and knock on doors and hand my card to them. Hey, do you have a shoebox in your closet? If you do, let me take a look. Could have a few $1,000s in there. Could be nothing. It just gets your name out there, and every single time you drop a card, it sparks off something in that person's brain. Hey, you know what? Maybe my brother or my cousin or my friend that I've known for 20 years who's always mentioned that he's got this box that's been kicking around for 40, 50 years. Number 3, I think I'm on number 3. This is a bit of a tougher one. It used to be something that was a lot easier to do. It's getting tougher and tougher to do with prices going up and the amount of collections that are out there narrowing down. Whenever I travel back to the Bay Area, I always make a few stops. I got friends along the way. Reno, Sacramento, the Bay Area, Santa Barbara, San Diego. That's my normal 5 stops, and then I head back to Montana. I'll call ahead. I'll find a hotel. It's got a conference room for half a day. I'll put an ad in the paper a week, 2 weeks before. You got to come out of pocket $300 or $400 or $500 sometimes, and you could get nothing. You could get no one showing up, but you could get so many phone calls before you've left town that you need to book the room for the whole day because you're still getting phone calls. these bigger metropolitan areas, any place that's 500,000 people or more, there's so many cards buried in so many basements, you can't believe it. Put an ad in the paper. Again, who are you looking to market to? You're looking for older people. If you're looking for vintage cards, they might not be on eBay, Facebook, Marketplace. They're not messing with those. They read the newspaper still though, and they might see that ad and give you a call and say, hey, I don't know what I've got, but I've got a box. Are you willing to look through it? And that has turned up some amazing deals. And it's one you've heard other people talk about. Like I know Chris Sewell mentioned it on Baseball Card Collector, Investor, Dealer. He's a great channel. He's someone to listen to. He's got a lot of wisdom. He's been doing it a long time. That hustle used to work, and it still does. It's getting more expensive to rent rooms, especially for a half day or a full day. It's getting more expensive to put ads in papers, and more people are out there looking for these collections, but it's still a viable option to look at. If you're, especially any place over 500,000 people, any city above 500,000 people, get that ad in their biggest paper, see what it costs for a 2-day ad for Saturday and Sunday, quarter page, half page, whatever's in your budget, make it work. Try and find a hotel that's in the center of the city. See what it costs to rent their conference room. They probably have several. Rent a smaller one. You don't need a big one. Rent a smaller room for half a day. Your biggest ally long term, and it's through word of mouth. And you get that by treating people right when you do previous deals. Sometimes it's tough for both parties to leave perfectly happy. But that's what you want. It's what you want to achieve. You want to feel like you got a good deal. You want them to feel like they got a good deal. Because that's going to lead to way more business for you in the future. Through the word of mouth, that person telling their friends is going to get you way more business than anything else you can do, probably. People that trust you and think you're a reputable guy and like the way you do business, they'll tell all their friends, hey, go check this guy out. I've got his number. There was a deal I did with a lady. She brought a box of junk wax into a store. And the store owner took a look at the top couple boxes. It was little 200 card count boxes. He looked at the first two, opened them, pulled a couple cards out, set them back, and said, no, I'm not interested. And the lady said, are you sure there's a lot in this box? There's a lot of boxes down there. He said, no, I'm not interested. So as soon as she walked out, I said, do you mind if I go out and make an offer to her? He said, no, go ahead. So I walked out and I talked to her, and I opened a few more boxes just to make sure of what it was. And it was primarily junk wax, but it was all Hall of Famers. And there was a bunch of sealed wax. In the further down I got, there was a bunch of sealed wax. So I asked the person, I said, hey, are you in any way nostalgic to this collection? Does it mean anything to you? Because I'm not going to offer you a ton of money for it. There's probably not a lot of profit in this. I'm going to offer you, $30-40 for it. And she said, if you don't take it, I'm going to drive it around the corner to that dumpster. I'm going to throw it away. I said, well, all right, here's $30 for it. When I got home and started going through this box, there was 2 complete sets of Topps 1972-73 basketball. The Julius Erving rookie, you see right there, the Wilt Chamberlain, the Kareem, the Oscar Robinson. All of these cards, every single card you see on that board was down in that box. Underneath 30 of these 300 count boxes of junk wax was almost 2 complete sets of 73 Topps. One was missing the Mike Schmidt. One Mike Schmidt was in really bad shape. But the Mays, the Clemente, everything else was in great shape. 72 Topps, complete set. 2 complete sets of of basketball. There was 7 or 8 Wilts, 4 or 5 Kareems, 4 or 5 Oscar, all the Hall of Famers there was multiple of, with the exception of the Julius Erving. There was only 2 Julius rookies. In the football, there was an OJ rookie in there. It was in pretty rough shape, but this person had pretty much every card that Topps had made from 72 to 73, football, basketball, baseball, underneath all that. I called the lady back up and I said, you need to come meet me. We need to meet up again. She said, why? And I said, well, I need to talk to you one more time. She said, oh, I'm not taking those cards back because that's not what this is about. So we met up again a couple days later, and I gave her a couple $1,000. She was blown away, and she said, you know, what's going on? I said, well, underneath all that junk you had on top, there was some really, really nice stuff underneath. And I just wanted to be honest with you, and I wanted to give you this. That led to way more deals than if I would have just gave her the $30 and that would have been the end of it. Because she started calling all of her friends and all of her family, and they all started calling me and said, hey, take a look at what I've got. Come, meet me here and take a look at what I've got. And I ended up doing 5 or 6 deals. These people all had collections that were similar. They all had really nice stuff. Some stuff from the 50s and 60s, some stuff more junk wax era, but complete sets of 80, 81, 82, 83 Topps. Those are all worth money, if you can get them at the right price. And these were people that were ecstatic to be getting rid of this. This is stuff that was just taking up space in their home. Anyway, being fair with people will get you way further than undercutting someone will any day of the week. That's, I guess, the last thing I want to leave anyone with. If you want to make it long term, be fair with people, and they'll treat you fair in return, and hopefully they'll pass your name along, and word of mouth will become the best way for you to get cards, to grow your inventory, grow your collection, become a bigger dealer. That's how it's worked for me. In a major city, in a small town, same exact business model both times. And I basically completely got out of the hobby when I moved to Montana at first. I lived in a insanely small town of 500 people. It's a fishing tourist community. I live in a little bit bigger place now, and since the pandemic, a lot of people have brought collections back out from the basement. A lot of people more interested in the sport. Montana as a whole is growing. We have a great sports card show every few months now, put on by the great local store here, Zootown Sports. Great people there that foster a great environment, and that's how you grow as a dealer. It's slow and steady. It's not by ripping any one person off and making a killing on one deal, because that'll be the end of that person telling anyone else about you, and it's just not a sustainable growth model that way. Hopefully some of these tips helped out for you guys. They were the biggest things for me. So, keep looking at your online resources. If you see good eBay deals, hop on them. If you see new Facebook, new Craigslist deals, hop on them. As long as you can make your profit margins work, okay. The second one is handing out cards everywhere you go. Introduce yourself to people. Be friendly. Pass cards out. Tell them what you do. Tell them tell them all about yourself. Be friendly. Be out there. Put yourself out there. Link up with your local store. Let them know you're there as an ally, that you'll help go in on collections with them, that you'll split them. If they need investment capital, you're there for them. If there's deals they're going to pass on, tell them to shoot them your way. Let you have a look at them. And last but not least, treat people fairly, and they will treat you right in return. Alan with Frost Collectibles. Stay tuned for more stuff. I got another PSA opening, some ultra-modern football, autos, and patches coming later tonight, probably after this video goes up. Thanks for watching. Have a good day, guys.